Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, we want to get into some of the comments that Isaiah Thomas, not the mighty IT, but IT the legend, Isaiah Thomas, Detroit Bad Boy Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Fame, Isaiah Thomas, top 3-point guard of all time, Isaiah Thomas, number 2, just behind Magic Johnson, the Isaiah Thomas that beat Michael Jordan so many times, that beat Bird, that beat Magic and Kareem, back-to-back championships, almost a three-peat. That Isaiah Thomas is who we're talking about today. And this is an unusual Saturday because I usually don't go live on Saturday, man. So hopefully we can get some people here. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. What's up, big dog? Um, but yeah, hopefully we get some participation in here, man, because I think this show is going to be pretty good. We got a couple of things I want to get into about what Isaiah Thomas said. He was on Mark Jackson's podcast on Cameron Mace's It Is What It Is channel, on Mark Jackson's show. And great conversation. They only aired part 1 of it, so part 2 is probably going to be very interesting as well. But he was able to talk about a couple of things in here, man. And I thought they were all interesting enough for me to come in on the Saturday and try to force y'all to come in here and listen to me for about half an hour or 45 minutes while I discuss these things. And if you don't catch it today, then you can catch the playback. Either way, I appreciate everybody for joining. We're going to open the phone lines up a little bit too for some call-ins as well. I do want to shout out my sponsors as well, starting with Underdog. They've been our sponsor for a little while, so we'll get to that. But more importantly, Cali Strong, man. I want to make sure that y'all are aware that Cali Strong sponsors the show. Make sure that y'all are aware of their brand, and y'all can go to their website and use the promo code Man Down Sports and get any of those that gear or that apparel and get a discount on it as well, man. That helps us out a whole lot when you go and use our sponsors and you go and search their gear and stuff like that. So get the word out for that. Make sure y'all go visit their website, see if there's anything you like. Use a promo code to get that discount. But Underdog as well. And this episode is always brought to you by Underdog. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy in their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Plus, now that it's football season, you can follow Man Down Sports as we reveal our favorite picks from week to week. Like I said before, pick your favorite player, pick higher or lower, choose your dollar amount, and win some money. It's just that easy. Make picks, win money. We also want to thank Underdog Fantasy for partnering with us, and we want to thank you for helping the channel out by using Man Down Sports on Underdog Fantasy. All right, man. So let's go ahead and get started. Can y'all hear me all right? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Because I just had to make an adjustment on my device over here. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me pretty good. All right, good. Was y'all able to hear me when I first started as well? Okay. All right. So the sound is good. All right. So, man, let's get started, y'all. All right. So Isaiah Thomas. And I'm going to try to make this quick, y'all. It's not going to be long. I am going to open the phone lines up, man. But Isaiah Thomas said a couple of things that I thought was noteworthy on Mark Jackson's podcast. And the first thing he said, I just thought was like one of the best flexes when it comes to the trash talking and all that stuff, man. I just thought it was dope, man. Isaiah Thomas has one of the best claims when it comes to all the greats, the top 50 players, the top 75 players. When they all get in the room, Isaiah Thomas has one of the best claims, one of the best bragging rights, that he can sit back and say that he can look at Larry Bird and say, I beat you. He can look at Mike and say, I beat you. He can look at Magic and Kareem and say, I beat you as well, right? That's a major flex. A major flex, man, right? So he spoke about that a little bit, and I just want to talk about it a little bit before we get into really what he said about this new era of basketball and how he think his Pistons would fare against this new era, and then what else he's seeing as an issue with this new era as well. So we're going to get into that. But I just want to play what he said about the flex?
Kareem, Dr. J, Jordan came along. Great Milwaukee Bucks teams. Teams were loaded, but
Yeah.
you were the big man on campus or the last guy standing in 88, 89, 89, 90. That had to be incredible, and your swag had to be on 1,000.
It was on 1,000. I ain't gonna lie. It was like to be able as a small guy to say that you and your team is the best team in the world, and you win and beating all the giants, man. Your ego and your feel good, and ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it when you can stand up and say, I can walk into a room today and I can look at Bird, I can look at Magic, I can look at Kareem, I can look at Jordan, and I can say, I beat you more than you beat me. My team beat your team more than you know, and that's a hell of a feeling, man.
That's a
and
flex.
I ain't gonna lie, and they may not like it that I can say it, but I damn sure say it.
That's a flex.
And I know another thing, that's not the way you're gonna say it neither.
Oh no! If I had my smile right and I wasn't dealing with what you call it, I wasn't dealing with Bell's palsy right now. My smile would be this big, this out, and because wait a minute, hold on, Mark. When they see you, they let you know. Like I hear how Jordan talks to everybody. I hear Magic talk to. They don't talk that way to me. Come out. No. You can talk to him like that. Because I won.
All right, so I just wanted to kind of lighten the mood up with that, man, because I thought that was funny, man, and it is a flex. It is great bragging rights. Not only can Isaiah Thomas say he beat those guys, Magic, and Kareem, Bird, and Mikal, Jordan, and Pippen. He can say, I beat y'all. He can also go a step further and say, I beat y'all more times than y'all beat me, right? On his way to, having a, I don't know, the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s where it was like Detroit basketball, Detroit Pistons, Bad Boy Pistons. That was their little time, right? That was their time. They had their moment in the NBA, and it was led by a team led by a little guy, a 6'1" Isaiah Thomas, right? So I mean, next to Iverson and maybe Steph, maybe Pistol Pete, I mean, is there any other little guy? Well, Pistol Pete he was kind of a big guard. He was like 6'4", 6'5", I think. He was a big guard, but those other three names before that, Steph, Iverson, Isaiah, I don't know if there's any other little guys that has been able to lead a team the way that some of these giants, like he said, led teams. Like before Jordan came, there were 7-footers that everyone was trying to get to be the best guy on their team, because the game was played through the post, but here come Jordan, and people thought you couldn't win with a 6'6" guy leading the way, but lo and behold, Isaiah was doing it as a 6'1" guy. So for MJ to look at that and hear everyone, I mean, MJ was already a strong-willed individual and still is probably, right? But for him to come in the league, hearing all the noise about, I'd rather have Sam Bowie and Olajuwon because they're 7-footers. A 6'6" guy that scored the basketball would never be able to lead a team to a championship. It just hasn't been done, right? We seen Oscar try to do it and he couldn't do it. He had to go join with Kareem, right? So it was a lot of evidence that could support what their claim was. For Jordan to hear that and still say, I think I can still do it. Even though he's a strong-willed guy, he probably would have thought that without Isaiah. But coming into the league and then seeing Isaiah lead Detroit to 2 straight championships, you had to think that Mike was like, if Isaiah can do it at 6'1", I can do it at 6'6", right? But major flex. You can walk in there, you can look at the GOAT, Michael Jordan, and say, man, I used to whoop your tail. I made you hate me and my entire squad. Y'all still don't like me. I'll whoop your tail. I got that claim over you. Yeah, you got 6 rings, but not before I finish whooping your tail and helping you get ready for the run you had as a player. Like, you know, Detroit kind of like was part of the process that grown Michael Jordan into greatness, right? Right. He got that claim. Then he can look at the GOAT small forward, Larry Bird, and say, I whoop you more than you whoop me. Then he can look at the GOAT center and Kareem and the GOAT point guard, right? He can look at every position. GOAT power forward, Tim Duncan, he can't say that to Tim Duncan. But every position, the number one guy, Bird, Magic, Jordan, Kareem, Isaiah, little Isaiah, can look them in the eyes and say, I whooped on y'all and I beat y'all more than y'all beat me. Right? How you like them apples. Right. So I thought that was cool, right? Let me see some of these comments before I move. But then the Bulls could tell him and the Pistons, they got swept and walked out. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, and this is not a Michael Jordan and Bulls live right now. You know, I'm trying to throw some flowers Isaiah away because he's the man speaking right now. He's the guy that the video is about. So of course Michael Jordan got some bragging rights on the Pistons as well, for sure. I think you got it mixed up, man. Down the Bulls ain't mad at Detroit. It's Isaiah that's mad at Mike. Oh, they mad at each other. They mad at each other. Pippen and Jordan still to this day can't stand them boys. They just don't like each other. Sally probably the only one they like, and Rodman. Sally and Rodman, right? So, Posh King said Kobe is the best shooting guard. I'm not gonna argue with you on that one. Ain't gonna argue. The Mamba is highly coveted. You know, he's a highly skilled and coveted player. He's there. But I mean, Mike's the GOAT. So you know what I mean? You know how they go, right? So, but that's not it though. So Isaiah continued to have conversations, and they asked him, how you think the bad boy Pistons, that Detroit team, if you could take that Detroit team and you can put it right now, 2024, 2025 season, how do you think they would fare in this era with these rules? You just take that team and put it in here. And that was interesting.
Now, we talk about that bad boys Pistons team. I want to know, if you take that same team and you put it in the 2024-2025 NBA season, what's happening?
A lot of teams wouldn't get 100 points, I'll tell you that. Hey, dude, if your objective is to take 50 3-point shots against us, you are going to miss 40 of them. And the 40 that you miss, those are fast break layups for us. Those are like turnovers. You're talking about defending the perimeter. We could all guard the perimeter. We could, you know, we weren't getting beat off the dribble. Now, maybe once or twice somebody would beat us off the dribble. But for the most part, I wasn't getting beat off the dribble. Dumars wasn't getting beat off the dribble. Rodman ain't getting beat off the dribble. Sally ain't getting beat off the dribble. And this is what I know. I'm beating all these cats off the dribble. I'm laying it up. You know, I'm Tony Parker right now. I'm Kyrie. I'm going to the hole. I'm making layups. And if I'm not making layups, then I'm dropping dimes. I think I would do well, and I think our team defensively would be a juggernaut in this era. Mark, what you think? You played against our team.
No, there's no doubt about it. And there's some people probably watching this and be like, "Oh, that's just an old head talking." No, that's greatness talking. That was part of a great basketball team that actually had lockdown defenders across the board. That was tailor-made to, you can put that unit into 2024, 2025, and a lot of people would be upset because they'd be dominant. They'd be absolute dominant. Both guys, the three-point shot wasn't as popular back then, but both Isaiah and Joe could shoot it. They were elite, all-time great defenders across the wing spot in Dumas and Rodman. Sally's length disrupted place, the power forward position. Also could be a undersized five. They running the floor. They picking you apart offensively. They'd be a problem we'd be talking about, there'd be Isaiah jerseys all across this world. And it's something he's not bragging. He's talking the truth. He's speaking facts.
All right, so let's kind of like decipher this. He said, first of all, he said he think they would fare well, right? And he said playing against a team, which is every 30 teams in the NBA is playing the same exact way. They want to get up as many as 3-point shots as possible. I ain't gonna say every 30. I think Phoenix, being that they still got 3 guys who really want to utilize the mid-range, Kevin Durant, Booker, and Bradley Beal really like to get to a mid-range, and spot and pull up. They shoot threes as well, but I think they still got that eye on the mid-range and the paint as well. So, not every team is doing it, but for the most part, every team is playing 5-man out basketball, high screening roll basketball, and they're trying to get something off the dribble drive and off the catch and shoot, preferably from 3. But some teams, they got players that when they have the ball, they don't mind stopping on the dime and pulling up, right? So it's still the high screen roll dribble drive, but instead of getting all the way to the rim like a player like LeBron, some players like DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, they still can pull up at the midi and get that shot. But it's not like they're calling Rip Hamilton off-ball screens or Reggie Miller off-ball screens, and he's utilizing double screens running through the Wallace boys or the Davis boys in Indiana. It's not like those 2 guys are setting screens for them off-ball and they're catching and shooting that way. It's pretty much give your best player the ball, give him a high screen, and off that high screen and roll action, either he's going to get all the way to the cup or someone's going to rotate and help, and you're going to dish it out to a shooter, right? So that's pretty much the offense. Everyone's doing that. But for the most part, they want to get their jump shot. They want to get their 3-point shot up. And what Isaiah Thomas is saying is you're playing right into our strengths, number one, and you're playing into what we'd rather you do. We'd rather you not use a 7-footer like Durant close to the hole or close to the basket, or a 7'5" guy like Wembanyama close to the basket. You letting us off the hook easy. You mean to tell me we don't have to deal with a 7'5" guy at the rim with a wingspan where he can dunk without jumping? You mean to tell me you're going to let us off the hook and put that guy at the 3-point line and he's going to shoot threes? We'll take that, because what he's saying that even your best teams, if you're trying to get, he said 50, and then he said you're only going to make 10. I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say let's not speak to the worst team in the league. Let's speak to like one of the better teams, or we can speak to the averages. I think on average, 35% from beyond the arc might be what, very close to what's going on. 35%, that's average for a team. And if you're trying to get up 40 threes a game and you shoot 35%, you're hitting about 14 of them, right? That leaves about 26 threes that you bricked, right? 26 threes that you brick. How many is that a quarter? You break that down by 4. You looking at 4 going to 26, however many times it go, 8 times, right? So you're looking at 8 bricks a quarter. That's 8 long rebounds for a team predicated on perimeter defense and getting out running, and they're not running so they can spot up for 3 and throw up another brick like you just did. They're running so they can get all the way to the rim. And what that's going to do is going to put a lot of pressure on your team. Someone's going to have to foul at some point, giving up so many fast break points. He said those long threes were like turnovers, right? So someone's going to have to eventually start fouling, right? Somebody's going to get in foul trouble. And then you're going to look and say, every time we shoot a 3 and miss, they go down and get 2. An easy 2, unless we're trying to foul, right? By the first quarter, you were already down double digits to a team like Detroit. You can miss 8 threes if you want to a quarter. we're ramming that down your throat. And I lied. 8 times 3 is 24, not 8 times 4. Right? That's 32. Right. So 6. All right. So 6, whatever the case may be. Let's just say 5 or 6 threes you miss in a quarter. We'll round it down to 5. But that's still, if we're treating those like turnovers, we can easily get 10 points off turnovers in a quarter. And we're not even talking about the offense we're running. We're running good offense as well. We're a good offensive team as well. We got Vinny, the microwave. We got Vinny Johnson, or we got Mark Aguirre, whichever version of Detroit you want to talk about. And he's a bench player coming off warming up like that. We got Dumars. We got Isaiah. Right? So defense first, getting on a break and getting early and easy offense second, and then we're running good offense third. Either way, we're very confident in a team like Detroit in this era. Very confident. And that's what Isaiah was talking about, right? So that's one thing. He mentioned, hey, look, man, we treat those missed threes like turnovers, right? But then he talked about how well, let's just get into this. The third question he asked him was about just the new era in general. What do you think about the threes they're getting up? What do you think about the style of play and how they play and all of that stuff? And this is Isaiah's response.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on the increased amount of 3-pointers that's being taken right now?
I think myself and also the fans who are watching the game are looking at it and saying, this is a bad product. We don't like to see the game played this way. Now, the Golden State Warriors with Steph and Clay and Mark's team, them shooting a lot of threes was great because they could do it. But now you have anybody pull up, and it would be different if they were making the shots. But most teams who attempt 50 3-point shots a night or 40 3-point shots, they're making anywhere from 13, and on a good night, they'll make 17 or 18. Very rarely are they getting to, 50%. So most nights you watching teams miss. And what professional basketball, what we used to like to think of is guys who got open, they were shooting like, 52, 53% from the field, 47 at the worst. And guys who shot 39%, the coaches would tell them, you can't shoot. You gotta pass to somebody else. You gotta pass to the shooter. So I think the product needs to be better from a visual standpoint. And I think all the coaches need to have different styles. Mark, you played for, 4 or 5 different coaches, right? Whether it be Larry Brown, Larry Bird, Rick Pitino. If I name those 3 coaches, I guarantee you, none of them coached you the same way or had the same style. Right. Now you look at 30 teams in the NBA, they all play the same way, they all talk the same way, they all practice the same way, they all eat the same food, they all fly at the same time, they got the same trainers, they all train on the same in and out dribble, behind the back paint. It's the same. And if you go to the video game, now the video game looks like the NBA game. The coaches, forgive me for going on this because you got me going now. The reason why we like football, right? We like football is because, hey, most of the time, every team has a different style. Like okay, Mark Jackson and I were both successful in the NBA, but we played different. Muggsy Bogues was successful in the NBA. He played different. Magic Johnson was successful. He played different. Rod Strickland was successful. Now, name me 7 NBA players that play different from the other guy.
It's tough.
You can't name 20.
Hey man, he preaching, right? He preaching, right? So many things he said. I'm gonna try not to forget everything he said, so y'all don't let me off the hook if I miss something he said. But let's start from what he said at last. Everyone's playing the same, and I already spoke to that. Everyone has adopted the 5-man out offense. All 5 guys on the floor are standing at the 3-point line. One guy is dedicated to setting the screen. I ain't gonna say one guy is dedicated, but in a particular play or a certain possession, one guy is going to set a screen, right? A couple of reasons why. They just don't want to go straight ISO and go one-on-one, and most guys that's trying to play that style, they got the ball in their hand, probably can't beat a good defender off the dribble anyway, right? Plus, it don't get that many people involved in, you'll be really letting them off the hook if you're not even giving them a decision to make, right? So setting a high screen at least gives them a decision to make on whether they want to switch it or not, because I'm trying to get a favorable matchup. If I got LeBron James with the ball in his hand, if I got Luka with the ball in his hand, or Harden with the ball in his hand, and you got Zubac on the floor, or you got Gobert on the floor, somebody that probably won't be able to stay with them in an ISO situation, then his man would come up and bring Gobert to the top of the key, set the screen, because what they also know is not only is every team doing the same thing offensively, every team is doing the same thing defensively, right? Every team is switching the screen. Every team. Copycat lead, it worked for Golden State. They had a def lineup of Iguodala, Durant, Draymond, Steph, and Clay. And every screen they switched, right? If you switch your screen and you got KD on you and Iguodala's man set a screen and they switch and now you got Iguodala on you didn't gain an advantage. Or Draymond, you didn't gain an advantage. Or Clay, you didn't gain an advantage. The only way they can gain an advantage is the weakest man on the totem pole defensively was Steph. And that's what Cleveland did when they had Kyrie or LeBron with the ball. Steph, you're going to be involved in every screen. We know y'all going to switch it, and we're going to clear out, and now you have to guard Kyrie one-on-one or LeBron one-on-one. What that does is you're going to be forced to double, or you're just going to have to live with the results of Kyrie guarding LeBron or Kyrie, or Steph guarding Kyrie or LeBron, right? You're going to give up a good shot, you're going to give up dribble penetration, or you're going to foul. Either way is a win-win. We'll love to get you 3 fouls in the first half. We'll love it. Or you just give us the basket, right? That was their philosophy. Every team's doing that now, though. So I know if I set a screen on your man, it don't matter who's guarding who, you're going to switch it because every team is switching every screen now, right? So back to what everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's playing 5-man out on offense and on defense. Everyone's switching all the screens. No one's fighting over screens. No one's hedging. No one's doubling out of the screen. None of that. We're just going to switch. We're going to leave Luka and Gobert one-on-one at the top of the key for the game winner. We'll live with those results. Lazy. That's lazy. And what Isaiah was saying is it's not a good product to watch when every team is playing the same exact way and no one is playing to their strengths. Rudy Gobert and Minnesota strengths were that they were big. They had Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert in the starting lineup, right? When Shaq was playing, their strengths were that they were big, Shaq, right? Phil Jackson did not design a defense where every screen that Shaq was involved in, he was going to switch and try to guard a point guard one-on-one. Because my advantage is when I got 7'1" Shaq, in the paint protecting the rim, which is the advantage that Minnesota has with Gobert. He's a rim protector. He's a shot blocker. He's long. Why would I ever want him out of place out there guarding Luka Doncic? May I have this dance at the top of the key for a game winner, right? So that's one thing that Zeke mentioned. Another thing he mentioned is that those threes that they're putting up is just not a good formula. You can't copy Golden State, because one thing that they're not copying with Golden State is Golden State had very good lockdown defenders. Their defense is what was really carrying them to all those championships. Yeah, the offense was legit. Steph Curry was legit. But you just can't come out and just and this is another thing. Everybody keep crediting Steph Curry for the explosion of the three-point shot and the way they play the game. Now, that's not Steph Curry's style of play. Steph Curry was running off screens like Rip. He was running off screens like Reggie Miller. Of course, yeah, he pulled up in the fast break situation, but Steph Curry moves without the ball. That's not what every team is adopting. Every team is adopting what James Harden was doing, where you give your best player the ball, you spread the floor, you set a screen for him, and he's either go dribble, step back three, or dribble, and then blow by you and try to get a layup or a lob. That's the offense that Luka is running. That's the offense that everyone in the NBA is running. Now Charles Lee over in Charlotte that left Boston is making Melo do that. Melo Ball is now running the offense. To a certain extent, Boston was running just to a certain extent, though. But they're leading the league in three-point shots made attempted this season, right? So it's not the Steph offense of play style that the NBA is adopting and all these teams are adopting and analytics are suggesting. It's James Harden's play style. It's D'Antoni's play style. It's Daryl Morey's philosophy of playing offense, where twos are a no-no unless it's a dunk or a layup. We want threes to get put up. But like Isaiah said, if I'm shooting those threes and you're shooting those threes and you're only making 35% of them and you're shooting 40, I got over 20. I got 25 plus misses that I can account for and that I can expect. I can expect those 25 plus misses a game unless you get on a super heater, which is very rare. But for the most part, you're missing 25 plus threes a game. And just like every coach taught us when we was young, long shots, long threes turn into long rebounds. Those rebounds don't fall in the paint. Those aren't the rebounds that Dennis Rodman and Charles Oakley and Charles Barkley was battling the floor. Long rebounds from three-point misses, those things fall around the free throw line. And if I catch a rebound, hard brick coming off the daggone rim at the free throw line, we often running. That's like a steal. That's like you throwing a bad pass and I caught it at the free throw line. That's like a steal. We're often running. We want to lay up. And we're not going to let you off the hook and shoot a three just like you did on a fast break. No, we got numbers. We got 3-on-2. We got 3-on-1. We got numbers. We want a bucket. Once we do that 5 times a quarter, we should be up. When that horn sounds after the first quarter, I want to be up 10 points. Just based on, and then what? Are you going to continue to shoot threes? Okay, halftime, we up 15. You get what I'm saying? Like that should be the philosophy. I don't understand how you San Antonio. I can't believe Greg Popovich fell for this new era of basketball. I'm shocked that Greg Popovich is playing like this. But you got 7-5 and he's not in the paint. If I'm Wembanyama, my goal is whoever's guarding me, you getting 2 fouls within the first 5 minutes of every first quarter. Like seriously, if I'm Wemby, who can guard you? You face up with Jokic right now. I know Jokic is wider and bigger than me, right? As far as girth, no Diddy. But I'm still going in the post, and I'm still going to make him defend and make the refs make a decision on whether he's defending legally or not. But I'm giving him everything. I've got spin move, up and unders, reverse pivots. I'm going baseline on him, a quick spin. I'm turning and facing. I'm jabbing him. I mean, that's what Tim Duncan do. He get you in that post, If he turn and face, he's jabbing, and then he's gonna shoot that mid range off the glass, high off the glass. Then you come back, same spot. I'm jabbing, pump fake, and then I'm going by you because now I done hit the daggone mid range off the glass. Now you got to make sure you contest because you don't want to get hit with a midi three post move or 3 post ups in a row. So I get that thing in the post, I'm turning and facing, and I got 5 or 6 things I can do and counters to each one of them. So I got your head in the spinner, right? Because what I'm trying to show you is you can't defend me one-on-one with this dude, right? So you get it down to your best player. He's in the post, turn and face, pump fake, jab. If you don't bite, if you're in like you go get a good contest, I'm taking that jump shot off the mid-range, off the glass, off the window, just like Tim Duncan used to do. And then you get it in the same spot. Now you're thinking, if he go off the glass again, pump fake. Now you coming up to the contest. Now I'm going right by you for a dunk. Now that player mind is spinning because he's like, man, what is he going to do the next time he get it in the post? And it's one-on-one. And then now the head coach and your teammates is thinking, should we double? Right? Or he might be thinking, hey, we not doubling. I know the game plan. I got to stop him. I got to get a stop. So what is he going to do? He's going to fight you for post position before you get the ball. So now y'all fighting down low because he's like, if I can avoid him from even catching the ball, maybe I not get embarrassed because I'm getting embarrassed. It's 6 straight buckets on me now. I got to get a stop. Now I'm fighting him in the post, trying to give him the worst position as possible and push him out as far as I can, so he don't have very low position. Now the referee's got a decision to make: is it a foul or not? Blow the whistle. Now I got a foul on him. Now I got 6 straight buckets on him and a foul. Now he really thinking, oh, we about to pull him out of the game. That's the chess game that you're supposed to play in basketball, not high screen and roll, dribble, step back 3. And then you just go back and forth down and everyone's doing the same thing. High screen and roll, dribble, step back 3, high screen. And you just keep doing that. No, that's not fun to watch. That's not fun to watch. And every player, former player, especially the legends, Charles Barkley, now Isaiah Thomas, Mark Jackson, they're coming out, they're trying to tell you, but we're screaming at the top of our lungs, will you listen to us? This is not a good brand of basketball. This is not a good brand of basketball. We don't want to see it. World breaker. I see where you're coming from, Mel. To be fair, he's not Tim Duncan, though. He's his own player. It's easy for people who not coaching and playing to tell someone else how to play. I'm just telling you what basketball standards are. There's no common sense way to think about a 7'5" guy not being under the rim or close to the rim or close to the paint. That's your best advantage. It's your best advantage. I'm sorry. It's my best advantage. I play my son one-on-one right now. My advantage is not on the perimeter trying to be quicker than him. Yes, I'm technically sound with the ball. I'm technically sound out of the triple that and all of that stuff. I can catch him slipping and stuff like that. But my advantage on my son right now is in the paint, down low, using my grown man strength and the weight that I got on him. Why wouldn't I use that to my advantage? And then guess what it also does? It preserves energy. It's tougher to try to get your high percentage shot attempts from the perimeter, and it's a lower percentage shot the further you get away from the rim. So if I'm 7'5", why am I out there? And then furthermore, if I'm 7'5", I'm taller than everybody on the court, including my teammates. If I'm 7'5" and I'm at the top of the key, where's my point guard at? Because every position on the court is very important to have a spot and someone occupy that spot. Having 5 guys at the 3-point line means that those 2 block positions are wide open. Those are positions that's supposed to be down there for rebounds, number 1. Offensive rebounds, right? And number two, it just helps with the flow. If everybody's a guard now and everybody's sitting at the 3-point line, come on, man. I'm sorry, World Breaker. I'm not trying to tell him how to play, but I am telling him how to play. You're 7'5". His height tells him how to play. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. That's like if you watch soccer your whole life and all of a sudden someone had the bright idea, let's take the goalie out of the net, bring him all the way to midfield when the ball passes midfield. Let's bring our goalie all the way out of the net to midfield, because that gives a more of an opportunity to score, because we got an extra man unaccounted for, and just leave the net wide open. They just start, all of a sudden they just start playing like that. And then soccer points go up. Instead of a 5-3 score, normally all of a sudden everyone's playing like that, where they're just taking the goalie out of the net, and you start seeing 40 to 30 soccer games. Yeah, it's more points. It looks more exciting, but if you're trying to win, why the hell would you bring your goalie out of the net? What if Analytics said, look, when you bring your goalie out of the net, you get more baskets, but on the flip side, you give up more baskets? Because now if you turn the ball over, who the hell's going to get back fast enough to get back to the net to play some real defense? And you get what I'm saying? That's dumb. We've been playing basketball the same way for so long. The biggest guy on the court, the big man, we have a role for you in the job. On defense, we need you to protect the freaking rim. You're 7'5". Why are your arms that long if you're not going to be able to help us block shots? That's what you do on defense. I'm not switching screens and putting you on the top of the key on the point guard. I need you down low protecting the paint. That's number one on defense. Number two, on offense, if you raise your hand, you're already at the rim. Why would I put you at the 3-point line? I don't care how good you shoot the three. You're 7'5". You're 7'5". How do you don't how is it hard to get through your brain? How is that hard? That's no World Breaker. That's not my standards. That's basketball. That's common sense. That's physics. That's science. It's a 10-foot rim. You're already more than halfway there. You're 7'5". It's a 10-foot rim. You're 7'5". It's a 10-foot rim. You're 7'5". Now you tell me where you want them at. Close to the rim or at the 3-point line? This is freaking common sense, man. If you switch the same thought process to the WNBA, then why do the fans want to see Caitlin Clark and Audrey Wilson shoot deep threes? Women's NCAA team made 33s in the game this past week. I don't know what fans want to see that. Basketball fans don't want to see that. But when you include a fan base of people who don't like basketball, they just like excitement, then they're going to go to the most exciting thing. And if the 3-point shot is exciting to them, then that's what they want, right? But it's all about who you want to appease. Do you want to appease basketball lovers, or do you want to appease people that don't love basketball who just looking for the next exciting thing, right? Because the basketball lovers I know was here when in the 90s when a playoff game would be final score 75-73. We was here for that. So do you just want the fans you just following the sport and don't know nothing about the sport, right? Because if I was to make a gumbo mix or some type of mix of whatever the case may be, I gave the example of sweet tea and lemonade. I think you call that a Arnold Palmer, right? The famous golf player who everyone has gave credit to creating the mix of sweet tea and lemonade. They call it an Arnold Palmer, right? 50% lemonade, 50% sweet tea. You throw that in there, you got an Arnold Palmer. But if we look at basketball, it's 50% offense, 50% defense, and you throw that in there and you got basketball. What happens if you say, let's take the defense down a notch to about 20%, and then we got 80% offense? Is that basketball anymore? Because if you do 80% lemonade and 20% tea, it's not an Arnold Palmer. It's going to taste like lemonade with a little bit of bitterness in it. It's really lemonade. It probably won't even turn the color of an Arnold Palmer. You won't even be able to tell it's sweet tea in there. It's just gonna look like lemonade. It's gonna taste a little different, but it's not a 50-50 mix. It's not, and if basketball is not 50-50 mix, what are we doing? It's not basketball anymore. Right? I also gave the example of a rib shack, famous for their pork ribs. But then they start to see a rise in vegan people and vegan restaurants and vegan options and stuff like that on other people's menus. And all of a sudden, this successful rib shack that's famous for pork ribs decide, let's stop selling pork ribs and let's sell some vegan ribs, because I want that untapped fan base of vegan eaters to come to my shop. So you change your whole product from pork ribs to vegan ribs only because you want a fan base of vegan eaters. That's what the NBA is doing. They're saying, we got basketball lovers here, but we want non-basketball lovers to like our sport as well. So let's change our basketball and let it be less basketball, more entertainment, so we can appease the people who like entertaining drama over basketball. That's what the NBA did. That's what they did. All right, phone lines are open. Let's get these phone lines popping. World Breaker, you need to call in with that logic. That's my standards. That's not basketball. You can't tell somebody how to play. Yeah, the hell I can. I know basketball. I can tell you what's basketball and what's not basketball. I definitely can tell you that. Phone line is open. Phone number is on the screen. Excuse me. Phone line is on the screen. Call in 336-456-6453. Am I crazy? You can call in as well. Andrew Williams in the house. What's good? What's good? I see you. James Craddock. World Breaking in Love with Dominique. What are you talking about? Am I crazy? Yeah, but I really like the fact that Isaiah Thomas and I like the fact that all these greats are commenting on this and making it known that, look, man, we don't appreciate what we're seeing. The fans are saying it. It's a lot of people. We don't appreciate what we're seeing. It doesn't look good. The product is not good. 53s, like 53s is crazy. I heard JJ Redick say he wanted the Lakers to get 60 up a game. 60. He said, I never gave a solution. Is it to remove the 3-point shot or go back to mid-range shots and dunks? No, the solution is, I didn't. You're right. I didn't get a solution today, but I've talked about this several times on my show, and the solution is always going to be bring back physical defense, because physical defense auto corrects everything. The 3-point shots that they're getting are basically coming off 5-man out offense, and the reason why 5-man out offense even can work is because they got freedom of movement. The physical defense isn't there, so I can't neutralize what you're trying to do with strong physical defenders and all that stuff. But once you bring back physical defense, and now you can't even you calling for a screen, you can't even get it. I'm very physical with you. Now you have to change your offense, because the reason why it was necessary for the ball to be thrown in the post in the 90s almost every play is because handling the ball was such a risk, because people was able to put their hands on you. They could be all in your space, and it was going to cause a turnover. So they was walking the ball up zigzag with their back turned, get it up court, get it past half court to avoid the 10-second count, pass it to the wing, and immediately throw it in the post. That was the safest area for the ball to be, because when it was on the perimeter and you try to put that thing on the floor and dribble, that was crazy. So it was necessary to walk the ball, bring the ball up court, get it to the wing, get it in the paint, start your offense from the paint. It was necessary for that. It's not necessary to do that anymore. So now you can bring your 7-footer and stand them at the 3-point line because I can just go and move freely the way I want to move. And I ain't got to worry about nobody hand checking me, pushing me. You know, I can flop and get a whistle. You know, hands off the merchandise. Look, hey man, he's touching me. I'm a marketed superstar. You gonna let him do that? You get what I'm saying? It's the babying of all these players. Physical defense being brought back into the league. Hand check being brought back takes all of that out. Now you got to utilize your 7-foot in the post. Caller from New York. What's your thoughts?
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ro from New York. Yeah, I've been thinking about. We've been talking about a lot of places. They've been talking about it, and we all say the same thing, right? All of us who are real basketball fans, we can't stomach the NBA because, I mean, you know, the threes is one thing, right? And I was on FYF last night, and we were talking about the, basically, you know, the logic of shooting threes, and I get the logic, but it's not basketball when you're shooting threes just to shoot threes.
Correct. When
the whole strategy is just to get threes, and there's no mix of variety. But then you got other things like the bad officiating. There's no real rivalries. There's no player rivalries or team rivalries anymore. You know, they take the emotion out. God gets a dunk on Wembanyama. Was it Hunter dunked on Wembanyama the other night?
Yeah, he did.
And just for the stare down, they gave him a tech. Like this takes the juice out of the game. You know, I don't even believe it's competitive. No. I've been calling it the NBA like WWE for the longest because to me it seems like they program it and now they, you know, it's WWE without the violence, pretty much.
Facts. I mean, you're right. It is an entertainment league. They've prioritized entertainment over basketball. And that's going to be always a push and pull between the fan bases because some people are here for the entertainment and some people are here for the basketball. How do you appease both groups, right? And we got a commissioner that seems like his priority is just the bottom line and the dollar, right? So even with people telling him this is not fun to watch, he don't believe it because he's like, well, I'm able to actually get more money this way than any other way. So like good luck trying to convince me otherwise. And that's why every time he comes up with a solution, it's never really addressing the problem. All his solutions has been totally separate from actually what the problem is. He's not even addressing the problem. Like he came up with 65 games to hopefully stop load management, but load management is not the reason why the league is unwatchable. Right. Then he came up with the in-season play. The in-season tournament. That's not the reason why people are not watching. You did in-season tournament and you still gave us a product that we don't like watching. Then you did a play-in tournament for the playoffs. That doesn't make us get competition. You're still giving us a bad product on the floor. Like all of his salute net, and then you changed the all-star format 5 times. None of this is changing how the product looks on the floor. But he knows that. He's just buying more time with these things every year because he knows that me giving y'all a cookie cutter, candy cane, entertainment-based basketball is how Disney, Amazon, TNT, and all these other networks, Vegas, that's how they're appeased by that because they got what
they'll
they
make
want.
the bidding. They'll do the bidding war. They'll do the bidding war regardless of what the numbers is. And see, it's all about content. We learned this from the pandemic. As long as you have content to put on your streaming platform, network, whatever, they'll be happy. So, you know, but again, you're still losing the hardcore fan base. There's ways to appease both. There's ways to appease both. And you got to stop being scared of another Malice of the Palace. I mean, these guys, first of all, there's no malice between anybody. First of all, Ben Wallace and Ron Artest, they had a lot of respect for each other. It just was something that blew up, and it just, you know, the Malice of the Palace was like a once in a lifetime thing, you know, because the fans got involved. Then it was like all the players against the fans, and that's what happened. But they're so scared of another Malice at the Palace that you're going to tech a guy up just for showing emotion after you dunked on a 7'5" guy. right? I think it tied the game up or something like that. I mean, come on.
You better show some emotion and you do that. If you don't,
thank you.
If you don't show emotion, you need to be drug test after the game.
Thank you. And that's the thing. It's like y'all so scared of a blow up. I mean, when Carly Towns and Wagner had the little back and forth, and Carly after a nice little hard foul, clean but hard, you know, he did the clapping tech for both of them. So now the hardcore fans are like, I mean, come on, we don't. That's the other thing, right? No more big men battles. How many big men battles? We used to see big men battles every night back in the 90s. Now the best you'll get is Embiid if he wants to play against the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jokic. Now you got Carl Towns in the East, and he's playing his best basketball of his career. So you might get, if Embiid decides to play now, if it's not a back to back and he don't choose to play, then the other team, you might get a little showdown right there. You know, I mean, the point guards don't guard the point guards anymore. That's another thing. You don't really see that too many battles that way.
The best player don't guard the best player either. That's
the other thing too. So I mean, and look, that's not Silver's fault. That's the strategy of the coaches, and I get that. But again, you know what? Again, everybody plays the same exact way. It's a copycat league. It's like watching chess match, and everybody got the same mirror strategy. Like it's just gonna go to a stalemate.
Yeah, exactly.
But basically, whoever makes the most threes that night is gonna win. I mean, Boston is a great team, a great roster. I cannot watch them take 53s and have multiple possessions when nobody even touches the 2-point area.
But you know why I still respect Boston a little bit? I don't like the idea that they want to get up 53s a game. I don't like that. But this is why I respect them. At least the guys that's taking their threes are serious about defending.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum gets up a lot of threes, but Tatum actually is playing power forward for Boston. And he's not just pretending to play power forward. He's really guarding power forwards. And then he still switches every screen and to get out and guard a perimeter player like Kyrie Irving or Luka in the championship game, right? Serious about defense. Yeah. Brown, serious about defense. White, serious about defense. Holiday, serious about defense.
That was what got them to
Al Horford, serious about defense. Porzingis, serious about blocking shots at the rim of defense. The whole entire rotation is serious about the other end of the floor defense. And then on top of that, Brown goes in the post, Porzingis goes in the post, Tatum goes in the post, Al Horford goes in the post. So they at least are implementing every area of basketball. They're just shooting a lot of threes with it, which is what Golden State was doing. Their players were serious about defense as well. And they was running real offense. Steph was not playing James Harden style of offense and getting his threes off. He was running off screens like Reggie Miller and getting threes off. So was Clay, right? But Sean Livingston went in the post. David West went in the post. Durant went in the post. Draymond Green goes in the post. They do a lot of off-ball screens, a lot of split screens. They do some backdoor stuff, a lot of actions in that offense, and then they play defense. So you could still watch Golden State. You could still watch Boston, but every team is not doing that. The teams are not copying it. They're copying Houston, James Harden.
Uncut Hoops had a post. He had a post, and there was a stat, right? They went by a decade, and the amount of teams that took 43s in a game but made less than 30%. So that's basically saying you took 40 or more, and you made 12 or less, right? So that's 28 missed threes minimum. The amount we're only in 2024. We haven't got to 2025 yet. There's been 786 games of that with 40 taken, less than 30% made. You know how many in the entire 2010s decade? How many games like you had like that?
How many?
16.
Sheesh.
16. 786 this decade, and we ain't even half the decade in, and 16 the last decade. And mind you, right? Nobody see this is the problem. Everybody wants to play like Golden State, but you don't got to step. Everybody don't got to step in Clay.
Correct.
And you know, everybody don't got to, like Orlando don't have a Stephen Clay. So they should not be taking more threes. And I like Orlando. Orlando's a nice scrappy team as well. But they should not be taking more threes, especially without their two stars, when you make the worst percentage in the league. They take 6 more threes and shoot the worst percentage in the league. But they also make up for it with defense. See, so at least, all right, some teams play defense well, some teams don't, and that'll at least keep you competitive, right? Cleveland they're making the highest percentage. That's why they have the best record. And my Knicks are shooting 39%, 39.6. We shoot 49. See, if there's a reason to do it. But if there's no reason to do it, then do something else.
I mean, rule of thumb for most coaches that I ran across when I was coming up is don't take a shot without trying to get don't take a 3-point shot that we can get at any time in our offensive progression. Like at any time I can get a contested 3 from the top of the key from the arc at any time off the bounce with my best player. We can come to that after we've tried everything. We went in the post. We've tried to get a double that way. We've kicked the ball out. We've rotated. We reversed the size of the ball. We've attacked the gaps. We did everything we could to try to get an easy layup, mid-range jump shot, something high percentage. We've tried everything, right? And if you get a 3 off of dribble penetration, perfect. But if all of that fails, right, I can get that 3 that you take contested from the top of the key, step back at any time. Why would you do that with 18 seconds still on the shot clock?
18, 19, 20 seconds on the shot clock. You also see, I grew up in the era where, right, I idolized Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was the king of the fast break, right? If the rule of thumb is if you get a 3-on-2, that should allow. The worst that should happen is you get an open 10-footer, open floater in the lane or something like that, right? You should have like a 90% chance of scoring with 3-on-2 because 2 cannot guard enough of the floor to stop three offensive players with with all the rest of them in the back. Now you see 4-on-1s where they pop out, slow the ball up, and take a 3. Yeah. A 4-on-1 should be a 99% chance of a layup or a dunk.
Yeah.
And you're taking 3s, and when that clanks, you just wasted a scoring opportunity. You wasted one of the easiest scoring opportunities you can get. And that's bad. I see. I never forget the Denver game that ended. The Denver had a 4-on-1 fast break. They were down 2, and they pulled up for a 3 to clank, and that was the game. They could have took the layup and went to overtime, but they went for the win with a 4-on-1. It's just, see, that's going to, the hardcore gym rat, the hardcore basketball coach is going to watch that. He's going to watch that in the game, and he's just going to turn it off. Again, that's the other thing. We have so many other entertainment options. So if I got that on my YouTube TV or Amazon, and I see that, I'm clicking.
Yeah, the WNBA game is actually better, man. I enjoyed them this season more than I enjoyed.
The most lit game I saw of 2024 was the WNBA All-Star game. That was the most lit.
That All-Star game was crazy good.
It was lit. You could see. That's the other thing. You could see that the girls that wasn't chosen wanted to prove something to the girls that were chosen.
Correct.
And it was just. It was all out drama. You could see that they wanted to win. You don't see that. First of all, the All-Star game, which is forget that, but you don't even see that in some of these playoff games.
No,
in the NBA, and that's the issue.
Yeah, but I appreciate the call though, man. New York, man. Good talking. Yeah, make sure you stay locked in. Call us back, man.
No doubt. I listen a lot. All right, man.
All right, bro. All right, let's get 1 or 2 more phone calls so we can move on to our final topic. I didn't want to keep y'all too long, so let's get 2 quick ones in here really quick. Caller from Washington State. Make sure you got YouTube turned off in the background. What's up? What's popping?
Yeah, I do, man. But can you hear me? Because I can barely hear you, sir.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Can you turn your mic up a little bit or something? Or?
No, sir. Right, well. No, sir. No,
sir. Okay. You don't take orders. Okay, cool. All right, check it out. Well, look, man, all of this is LeBronian's fault, man. I keep telling y'all, LeBron is not what I call him, man. It is a way of life. It's a losing way of life. That's why they in doggone Diddy party dipped in Diddy, bitch. Fuck out of here, man. Look, man, don't nobody want to see all the damn threes. Swing, 3. Swing, 3. 2-on-1. Kick it back out for a 3. Oh, y'all don't shoot threes, motherfucker. The reason why Golden State won because they had 3 of the best shooters in the damn league. They had KD, Steph, and Clay. Motherfucker, 1, 2, and 3. Bitch, what the fuck are you doing? Nobody else has that, fam. You have. Oh, you trying to say something? Well, because
No,
I
I'm
can
listening.
see
Go
you.
ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, look, nobody else has that shit. Stop doing that shit, okay? It's fucking crazy, man. Look at this in-season tournament, dude. Look, that was a scam, dude. They was trying to see how many people they was gonna be. Look, I just got out the military, man. You know what I'm saying? Finally out there with, 43 years old. Fellow Navy veteran. And both of our name Melvin. I don't know you personally, man. But at the end of the day, I know bullshit when I see it, man. Don't nobody in the damn world in no fucking sport ever, when you're 4 and 6 in the most important time ever in history, are you the GOAT? Not in boxing, maybe in golf. I don't know. I don't watch this shit. I'm black, okay? When Tiger Woods start tripping, I'll stop watching, okay? When his body start breaking down, you need to go holler at LeBron and get some of the Belco. He'll be shot at that shit. Like you stuff that shit like you used to, man. You know what I'm talking about? He used to do it like that for everything was Tiger Woods, man. And then you come on world breaking so fast, like you telling me you're not a man. You traded your respect in for skinny jeans, long hair, and fingernail politics. Now stop calling in with the weird shit. You talking to Dominique like she your girl / your mom / you trying to hook up with LeBron, who's your daddy / you want to date her. Well, nigga, you confusing the world. Because you confused, man. You confused because you've been watching losing this whole damn time for 23 years. Now, do you want the truth about your friend LeBron? Because I'm a lawyer, dude. I'm a jag, okay? Military lawyer, motherfucker. You ever seen that dude? You want the truth? You can't. I'm better than that, okay? That probably was based on me, motherfucker. I am him, okay? Now, look. LeBron, you failed in 2008. You failed in 2000. You underachieved in 2009 going against Orlando, correct? Then you underachieved against Boston going against them because y'all was the number 1 seed. Boston was number 4, motherfucker. I was watching. And they beat y'all last. And then they went and almost beat Covington if, I'm just going to say, if Big Perk wouldn't have went down, and they probably would have won that game 7, or that game 6. I'm just saying, man. All I'm saying is LeBron has been a bum since the whole time. He couldn't move J.J. Barrera. He couldn't move an old, yet played very well, Jason Kidd. He couldn't move Sean Marion. But one thing I did notice, fam, this gonna shock the shit out of you, world breaker. You're a fucking hero. He played power forward on, no. He played small forward on defense, but he's 6'8". But he was first team all defense. Why the fuck you ain't guarding Jerk? Who killing? Why is half them guarding him, fam? Why is Joel Anthony guarding you all defense, bitch ass nigga? Because you were LeBron. And they figured out no, what happened was, man, when it started in 2008, if you really want to get technical, when LeBron figured out they didn't win in 2004 and he got a bronze medal, now he started doing that little cheating shit because they knew they couldn't do that, when they link up on the side. So he started cheating at the damn Olympics of 2008. But fucking Bosh, he didn't understand something, huh? He didn't get the fact that Bosh shot 40% from 3 in 2008. Yeah. But when they got to the doggone Olympics, Bosh didn't shoot a 3 at all. You were bamboozled, you idiot. You needed somebody who didn't clog the lane because all you is layups. You were 89% from layups and you 22% from everywhere the fuck else. You only shot over 40% twice in your 23 career, motherfucker. And one of them was last year. You ain't shit. You ain't shot over 80% one time in a damn from the free throw line in 23 years. And that nigga, he's supposed to get better every year, fam. Every year. Why wasn't you doing Dirk in 2011? Then J.J. Barrera killing your goofy ass. This is when you was proved wrong, fam. It wasn't 2011 the time that they found the LeBelco fucking factory and they closed that bitch down. You had to go find some new shit up. But this is the one thing you don't understand, fam. D Wade averaged the same thing Kobe averaged the year before. And the Lakers won. How the fuck y'all didn't win? When D Wade averaged 27, 6, and 5, and fucking Bosh averaged 19 and 9 or something like an older Paul Gasol would have did, and they won. How the fuck you ain't win? Why? Because LeBron only averaged, what do you average, 17 and 6? He averaged something that he wasn't supposed to fucking average. He should have been averaging more. But they figured your goofy ass out, LeBron. They figured that your damn post game wasn't that much of shit, and your mid range wasn't that much of shit. And if they fouled you, bitch, you couldn't make a free throw to save your motherfucking nuts. Nutless, but don't know shit, but bunny, the motherfucking media, we don't give a shit, bitch. We see what's going on. See ya.
All right, brother, man. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it.
Don't cut none of that out. Until that locker room dude, I'm still looking for him. He keep locking me out the damn thing because he don't want nothing. Until FYI Sports take some hoes and tell them dudes that go debate whatever they is, they scared as hell. Why they keep ducking my calls? I'm right here, nigga. Oh my God.
All right, take care, brother. Young Fentanyl, y'all. Am I crazy? My dog. Yeah. Yep. There. It was interesting. All right, y'all. Let's move to the next topic, man. Jason McIntyre. So, we're talking about all of this, this new era stuff and how they're playing the basketball game and how we don't like it and how it really needs to upgrade and how it doesn't compare to yesteryears and the golden era and all of this good stuff, man. But the funny thing about this is everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. Adam Silver claimed that he's about to launch an investigation to try to figure out where all this 3-point shooting is coming from. You got to be freaking kidding me. You launching an investigation. All right. So you don't know the rules that you changed and the directive that you gave your officials and all of that stuff. You didn't know that was going to result into what we're seeing now. You didn't know that. Ain't that what you wanted? Right? That's what you wanted. So I think that's kind of disingenuous for you to say you launched an investigation. That's kind of crazy, right? But everyone's trying to scramble and try to find answers, and they're pointing and placing blame, man. I found 2 interesting clips, man. One from Jason McIntyre, who seems to be 1 for 100 annually on good to bad takes ratios, right? As a matter of fact, I don't even know if I can say 1 to 100 as a ratio, because I don't think I've ever heard a good take from Jason McIntyre. I think all of his takes are bad. I think his takes are historically bad on purpose. I think his brand is outrageous, far extreme bad take, with being annoying because his voice is annoying, his eyes and his face is annoying. I think that's his brand. I think he's purposely pushing bad takes out there, and he had a very bad take just recently this week or last week on Colin Cowherd's show, where he blamed their entire Inside the NBA panel and TNT for what we're seeing in basketball. He's saying the ratings dropping. He said the main reason why the ratings are dropping is because Inside the NBA on TNT. Listen to this.
J-Mac, your thoughts? I'll be watching tonight.
I'm a big NBA guy.
So I'll be watching tonight.
This take probably won't be very popular, but I would argue that Inside the NBA, the show that everybody loves, has done more damage to the NBA in the last decade than anything. Forget about this woke and left and right.
Yeah.
Inside the NBA goes on every week and just trashes players, trashes the style of play. Colin, you look at any other show, MLB Network, NFL Network, these shows, our network, we're all positive. We're excited. We're talking about the games. Inside the NBA, they just hammer the players. Charles Barkley's on TV. The Rockets are in the Final Four for that NBA Cup. Oh, the Rockets don't know how to play basketball. They stink. They don't know what they're doing. What are you doing? You're damaging your product on a nightly basis, hammering it. Colin, globally, the NBA is fine. much bigger sport globally than the NFL.
Well,
In
yeah.
America,
Yeah.
the ratings aren't great. That's obvious.
How's it doing in?
He said globally, the ratings are fine. He said the NBA is doing fine globally, which is the concentration of the front office in Adam Silver. Like, you know, we want that market that's untapped overseas, right? So you're going to see a emphasis placed on making sure that we can prop up Luka, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic. We're going to make sure the foreign players get a little boost, right? We're going to make sure they're going to get their hands off the merchandise treatment in the playoffs. We want them to be successful as possible, because we want their home crowd back wherever they're from, or just a European-based audience in general. We want them to be, proud of what they watch. There's no way to make a fan base happier than seeing someone that reminds them of themselves, or someone that represents them, or someone who represents where they come from. I mean, that's basically what sports is all about anyway. People root for a team, and they root for that team their entire life for a couple of reasons. One, I might be from their hometown. He represents, or that team represents where I'm from. So I'm going to root for them with all of my might. I'm going to buy their merchandise. I'm going to buy tickets. I'm going to fight for them. I'm going to debate about them, right? I'm going to represent them. All right, that's what sports is all about. So if you can create what we've created over here in America, with people loving their cities and their teams, or players that came from their city, or players that remind them of themselves, or players that represent the struggle that they came from, right? I know a lot of people who emotionally love LeBron James because they're just from Ohio, and to see a kid from Akron go out and do what he did and win a championship with Cleveland, it's an emotional connection with it. Can I create that same emotional connection with people overseas? Because if I can create the type of fan base overseas that we have in America, then that means I got the best of both worlds. I got people locked in America and people locked in several other countries. How am I going to do that? How am I going to make you love the NBA so much that you can't even not watch if you wanted to, because you have to root with your whole heart for your countrymen? Everyone that's from wherever Jokic is from is probably watching and defending Jokic with every breath they have in their body. If I do a Jokic video and say anything negative about him, the comment section, you won't believe how many people from overseas get caught up in that algorithm and be in my comment section calling me every name in the book. Like, they love really hard for their countrymen. And then you do the same thing with Luka. So if you're pulling that type of audience, and you can create a LA Lakers or a New York Knicks or a Dallas Cowboy like fan base around one player, it's going to be very hard to do it for a team because they're not from here and they've never lived in these cities. So you're going to have to use players to do it and make that emotional connection to the overseas audience. You're going to have to use players to do that. If I can make that emotional connection with an entire fan base of millions of people that love Jokic and Luka, I can have them watching the NBA for another 15 years, as long as they're playing, which will lead me to my next big network contract. By that time, we'll find another player. By that time, we might have an expansion team in New Mexico or Mexico City. We'll grab that fan base as well. So Adam Silver's mind is on the overseas market. More money, because he feels like, I got America on lock. I can never lose them. As long as the Knicks and the Lakers exist, which is the hugest fan base and the hugest market we have in the NBA, as long as the Lakers and the Knicks exist, we're fine. And if we ever start to struggle for real, all I have to do is make sure one of these great stars get to the Knicks or to the Lakers. Wembanyama will probably be a Laker within the next 6 to 7 years. Anthony Edwards will probably be a Knick within the next 6 to 7 years. If the NBA ever starts to fail too much, I just put one of my superstars with one of my bigger markets, and we're back, baby. They got us figured out like sheep. So forget fixing the product, but let's get back to Jason McIntyre. He's going to try to blame inside the NBA Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and Ernie Johnson. He's going to blame TNT and their entire crew on the ratings drop for the NBA, saying that they're criticizing how bad the product looks, and that's the reason why ratings are dropping. And basically, he's saying when we turn it on and hear people talking in the media, we want to hear nothing but cookies, cake, raindrops, chocolate. We just want to hear everything candy coated raindrops. That's what we want. Give us that. Give us the sweet candy coated raindrop lie. Don't tell us the truth. Just like that book, The Emperor's New Clothes. You got your emperor walking around here butt naked, and nobody around him wants to tell him he's butt naked. Right? The Emperor's New Clothes. Hey, I need a new outfit for this parade. Well, how about this invisible outfit? And your entire cabinet of people that's supposed to be taking care of the emperor or the king, they know that he's butt naked out there, but they won't tell him because they don't want to get fired because they couldn't come up with a good outfit for him for the parade. So they sent the emperor out there butt naked to embarrass himself, and they just oh man, King, you look great. Oh, it looks good, King. Oh my God, if only you could see this. That's what Adam Silver is right now. He's the emperor on top of the NBA, and Jason McIntyre is saying, continue to lie to him. We're going to blame the people that's telling him the truth. Why would you tell? The only reason why people are not amazed by what we see on TV on the NBA floor is because someone is telling the truth about how bad it looked. They should be lying and telling them that it looks great. That's what Jason McIntyre just said. But the worst thing about that is that Jason McIntyre is not the only one who said that, right? JJ Redick said it as well.
I don't think we as, and by we, I was part of it, we as the sort of national partners have done a good job of storytelling, of celebrating the game. If I'm a casual fan and you tell me every time I turn on the television that the product sucks, well, I'm not going to watch the product.
Plain and simple for JJ there.
Can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think JJ Redick is full of cocky, thank you.
He's full of it. I got you.
Poppycock. He's full of it. Because they're giving us way too much credit, okay? The inside the NBA, the reason actually why it's so popular and why it's done so well for a long time is because they are honest. You know what people don't watch? People don't watch your local post-game shows where it's rah-rah home team. That's what people don't watch. Where I'm going to watch my team get blown out, and you're going to tell me a story about how they were in the game for the first 3 minutes and how they can build off of that next week, next game, or whatever. That's not what people want to hear. That's not the reason. It has nothing to do with Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith. Zero. The reason people aren't watching is the quality of the game. And I respect Charles Barkley and those guys and TNT for being honest with the fans. It is a nationally acclaimed show. Everyone's tried to copy it. What they can't copy is the authenticity of the comments about what's going on in front of you, what you're watching. They have not always been bashing the product. Have they over the last few years? Yes, they have. And rightfully so.
Wow. So JJ Redick, you know, see what go on in the media is one person say something, whether it's Shannon Sharp, Nick Wright, Stephen A. Smith, or in this case, Jason McIntyre, they say something. And everyone else that want to protect this era of basketball or be like, oh, that sounds really good. We'll start repeating it. And then once the right mouths start to repeat it, it becomes law amongst the basketball community. And enough people start repeating it as fans. So look for the next couple of weeks, you know, whenever you have these conversations with friends, They're going to hear JJ Redick say that. They're going to hear McIntyre say that. And you're going to hear a lot of fans say TNT is to blame for the ratings drop because they're telling the truth about what they see. And what Jason McIntyre and JJ Redick is suggesting is that you lie to the public, you lie to the basketball community, you lie to the fans, and you tell them what you're seeing is gold, even though you know it's trash. And they try. They try. They try to make sure that they're doing a responsible thing by the NBA as partners and say, we have to not tear the game down too much. We got to uplift the game, and we got to make sure that people are interested. But we also have a job to be honest. And I think people like Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and Shaq at least take that serious enough to say, we got to be honest. If the baby's ugly, we got to call the baby ugly. If the baby is ugly and they ask you, you must call the baby ugly. You have to. You cannot look a Gila monster in the face. You cannot look a gift horse in the mouth and then turn to the pappy and say, oh, that baby going places. That's a bad day. That's a good looking kid. If the eyes are cocked like a pistol and the teeth are as crooked as Wall Street, you have to say so. And that's what the NBA is. The NBA is an ugly baby. And you're asking me, how does my baby look? And I'm going to tell you the honest truth. That baby is hurt. But I like them shoes, though. And that's all that they're doing on TNT. And that's what you got to do, man. If the baby's ugly, call the baby ugly. Catch y'all on the next show, man. I appreciate it. Peace.